Hello, this is Horror Chatter, and today I want to talk about our stimulus checks that we're going to get from Trump. So, I found an audio from the news, and I want you to hear it, and we'll come back and talk about it.
Has been talking about. Would that fly? So, what about these $2,000 checks that the president has been talking about? Would that fly in terms of passing the Congress, or do you expect that the only way that could actually see the light of day is through a second reconciliation package?
Well, first of all, Maria, we're $38 trillion in debt. We've averaged $1.9 trillion deficits over the last 5 years. Over the next 10 years, the projection is about $26 trillion in cumulative deficits. We have to address the deficit problem. We are on borrowed time here. So many people are whistling by the graveyard. If we're bringing in revenue through the tariffs, that ought to be applied to reduce the deficit, not just making a cash payment to Americans.
It sounds like you would vote no in terms of $2,000 checks going to individuals.
We can't afford it. I wish we were in a position to return the American public their money, but we're not. We'll have at least a $2 trillion deficit this year. That compares to prior to the pandemic. Yeah. President Trump had deficits. He's running about $800 billion. Obama, his last 4 years, $550 billion a year. Now we're $2 trillion. Completely unacceptable. We have to start focusing on that and doing something about it.
So what about these $2,000 checks
what Senator Ron Johnson is saying is the United States is in debt. Okay? So how are we going to give the American people $2,000 each? This is not possible. It is seriously not possible. People want to come to the United States because they think that is where the money is. Used to be the United States was number one on the totem pole as being the richest country in the world. Well, it's not that case no more. Okay? Because we got the money that we have to put into this new war. Trump going and blowing ships up, that costs money, by the way. The idea that, when our plane situation happened, we couldn't even afford to pull money to pay pilots who fly planes. So how are we going to do that? And not another little tidbit. Ron Johnson and other people have to vote this in, and they're not going to do that. They're not going to vote in Americans getting money when we're already in debt. Okay? So I really need for the American public to be a little bit more smarter than what they're doing right now. Okay? The only reason that Trump is bringing up this tariff bullshit and these checks and shit is to deflect. Okay? That's what people do when they're doing dirt, is deflection of lies. So he just gives you this deflection of lies that is never ever going to happen. Okay? I hate to break it to you, but he's even calling for the end of income tax. Let that sit in and sink in with you, especially you people who have children, who depends on that little money every year to help you stay afloat. Oh, he's wanting to cut that. Yeah, income tax will be on the next thing. Food stamps, we can't even afford to feed our people. Okay, so how in the fuck are we going to give everybody $2,000? The shit ain't going to happen. What else are we spending money on that we can't even fucking afford right now? And shit, did you hear the run through of the history of deficit that we've been in? Okay, what do you have to understand? Like, what do you have to do to get it? What does he have to do to help you, the American public, understand that we have a lying hypocrite in office? Okay? And every single day he gets up, he's going to go to the damn Twitter and lie his ass off, get on interviews and lie his ass off. Oh, and offend women because he don't like women. You get what I'm saying? So I just wanted to bring a little bit, even if it's a little bit of clarity about where we're headed financially as a country. Okay? Now, I'll be honest with you. If you look into the history of it, China and Korea ain't got this problem. They pretty darn rich. Pakistan actually got some money there. United States, we ain't got shit. You hear me? We ain't got shit. you know? And then what the next thing on the shopping block, which is going to fuck everybody up, is they're going to cut Social Security. They're going to do it. Nah, they're going to do it. When you sit up as a dictator and say, I don't give a fuck about my people eating, I don't give a fuck about them kids, the next thing they're going to say is, I don't give a fuck about them old people. Okay? And here's the thing. We're here, and I have to remind you every time I go through a damn story, but we're here because America did not want an African American female president in office who cared about the people. Okay? We could have, I mean, honestly, and here's the thing. Look into other countries and other areas of the world with people, with women who are presidents. Yes, there are other women presidents out there. And see how the country's doing. Just see how the country's doing. Do that. Okay? And when you see the difference, you'll be like, shit, I am fucked. Okay? So you already hear Ron Johnson came out in the news saying, look, this shit's not going to fly. And here's the thing. I think it's funny that people think that they're going to get this golden goose. And the whole thing is that you have to vote it in, y'all. I mean, Trump can't just sit up and get up one morning, scratch his ass and say everybody's going to get $2,000. No, it has to be voted in. Okay? So, until the next time, this is Hard Chatter. Just letting you know that the United States is probably the fourth poorest country in the world. So until the next time, this is Hard Chatter. I thank you so much for listening.